All right. So I want to start talking about your new single, Boot Up. You know, first official single in 10 years from you. Just talk about what inspired you to, write this song.
I just wanted to be able to do another anthem. I wanted to make sure if I came back, it would be on the level that I left on and on the level that I'm known to have. So I had to ask myself if I was only allowed to sing 3 records right now. I know I'd have to do it too close and I'd have to do a wifey, but I had to put something in the middle. I wanted to make sure it was a record that would be on that level. So, Boot Up. And it's relative. I think that people can relate to it, so it can be timeless. And that's what I wanted to make sure it would be.
Right, and like I said, 10 years since your last, official single. You've had mixtapes and songs here and there, but did you always have plans to come back officially like this, or was that always the case?
Only if I was ready. I think that the success that I've had and the ability to continually tour with the records that I've done in the past afforded me the latitude to just relax and really work on my craft to make it what it needed to be. If you look at a lot of artists nowadays, they're putting out 2 albums a year sometimes. That's because they're popular, but they're not successful as you think. But if you look at like the big acts like a U2 or Rolling Stones, they can put out an album every 5, 10 years if they want, because the music is so timeless. They can continuously travel the world doing these records. And that's what I want.
Cool. I remember reading about your new album, 5:15 AM. That's what it's called. So I read you were treating this like your debut again. That's how you were approaching it. Talk about why you wanted to have that approach.
Well, it's called 5:15 because I was born at 5:15 AM.
Yep.
And I think that a lot of times artists get relaxed and they take their fan base for granted. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to take it back to how I felt as a new artist. And when I look back, that's when it was the most enjoyable, when I was innocent, when I didn't know about the politics, when I wasn't afforded certain things to where I felt like, oh, I need to have this, I need this room, or I need this flight, or I need, different things that don't make the music what it needs to be. The hustle, the struggle, that's what makes it. So I wanted to go back to that hunger, so that's why it's 5:15.
And where you are now as an artist is a little different from where you were when you released your solo debut, Our Elements, years ago. How are your goals different now as you prepare to release this project?
To be honest, when I did Our Elements, my goal really, well, let me start with the story. The truth is, we put out, the second next album, but then Clive left and started J Records. We were the only act that had an album out at that change. So we were told that, if we stayed, the label would promote it. If we left and went with Clive, both labels would promote it. So of course, being loyal, we left and went with Clive. Only to find out that they weren't going to promote our album, and Jay wasn't allowed to because it wasn't on the J label. I went and had a meeting with Clive, and I had a whole new album ready for next. He was like, you just put out an album. We're on our second single, which was Beauty Queen. We can't put out a new album that quick. It will confuse the consumer, but I'll tell you what I will do. Let's do your album. So when I went to the studio, I actually went in with Walter Millsap, who has Mindless Behavior. That's his group. I met Walter through DJ Quick, but I kind of put him on and we just started working on crazy projects. But I learned how to be an artist doing my solo album. So really, it was really a school project. It really wasn't me saying, okay, let me go do a body of work because I want to put out a solo album. It was more so, let's experiment and see what I like. So it was all over the place. The difference with this is I know what I'm doing. I record, I engineer, write pretty much everything. I know what I want to do. I'm the consummate professional where I know what I like, I know how I want to sound, I know what vision I want to put across to my audience. So this is where I feel like I'm at my apex as an artist, where I can give you exactly what I hear in my head and make it come out the speakers.
Right. And just like you said, you could do it all yourself, right? Produce, even engineer. Are you prepared to do this, album independently? Is that where you want to be, or would you prefer like a major label getting involved?
I mean, I want a machine, but we decided to go this route in the beginning with, BPE along with my company. We did a joint venture, motion picture music, so that we could start it out because we felt like we had the resources to get it to the masses like need be. I've always liked having a machine. People can say, well, you don't need this and you don't need that. I just like family. And if I'm going to have a barbecue, I want a lot of people at it because I want somebody to cook, I want somebody to get the ice, I want somebody to make the drinks. And if we have a team, whether it's a big label, small label, whatever, everybody can stay in their lanes and do what they need to do to make sure that it's successful.
Right, makes sense. So, since we've been covering you as an artist over the years, we've heard of, the Love Music album you were going to put out, Minnesota Nights a few years back. What made you kind of go away from those titles? And were those previous projects you left behind?
Yeah.
So what made you leave
recorded
those?
hundreds of records.
Okay.
Actually, for the 515 project, I recorded 70. I also dealt with a lot of leaks with the other albums. People, might have thought that I was leaking records and putting them out to quote-unquote stay relevant, which makes no sense because I was already writing for other artists. Right. So really, these records were coming out because there were hackers in Germany that were getting publishing company, record labels, and everybody else's email addresses and hacking into email accounts and taking records. So that was part of it. For me, I'm a perfectionist. To be honest, the only reason this album has really come out is because management and some people from the label came in and were like, no, it's ready. Yeah. You've recorded too much, because the album's supposed to be done and I've recorded 4 records last week from scratch. Yeah. So it's like I just want it to be perfect.
Okay. So you've also had writing placements over the years, like you mentioned, Mindless Behavior, a few others over the years. Do you feel like you still get the respect you deserve in the industry, as, or you're a veteran now? You got a younger act like Mindless Behavior coming to you for songs. Do you feel like you get that respect from artists?
No, not like a lot of people have, but I think that my gift is my curse. When I work with artists, besides early on when everybody wanted it too close, so I had to make records like that with KG. My records don't sound alike. It's not about me. I always tell artists I work with, I don't want you to sing it like I did because I want to keep my day job as an artist. And if you sound like me, then they might want you and not me.
Right.
I want to be able to make an artist sound like themselves at the best possible way. And since I do that, a lot of times people don't hear me talking or singing all over the record. Unless you really listen, you might hear me do some backgrounds, but people don't know that I've done a lot of things because it's not about me when I'm working on another artist. Right. It's about them. But nowadays, a lot of writers, they make the songs about them.
Definitely. Okay. Talk about what's new with next. I know you guys are still together, still do touring. You're working on an album previously. No?
I made a decision to focus on my solo career right now. That could be revisited. They're doing their thing. It's not a beef thing. It's not anything negative. It's really me deciding to focus on this 515 project right now. Do we have a lot of next records recorded? I consider and play you 25 records right now. Yes, I love them. I think that we have an amazing history, but I need to grow as a man, not even just an artist, as a man, and I have to take this journey right now by myself. Makes
sense. So, if there's never another next record that ever comes out, are you happy with the legacy you guys have left behind?
Yes, but I'll say this. I never thought I would live to see 30, and I'm 35. I didn't think I would live to see 30 because I really didn't feel like my work was respected or appreciated like it should be. But I think one day people will look back and realize, because if you ask any person right now on the street, what was your favorite artist back in the day, of the late 90s, they'll never mention us, or rarely I'll say that. But I'll also say that, say I took you in a studio and you didn't know Next or know me, and I played you a Drew Hill, Jagged, 112, and Next record, you like the Next record the least, but you'd wake up that next morning singing our record.
Right.
That's how it's always been. We've never got the critical acclaim like we wanted, but that's fine because we've got the longevity and we have records that will stand the test of time.
All right, we'll definitely do. So that's all we have for you. Anything you want to add on?
I just want to say, listen, you know that you're my pale brother. Wherever I'm at, whether it's a concert, whatever, I gotta have you there.
Appreciate it, man.
No, you were the first person out of anybody. I'm sorry if I told you that, whoever's watching it, I lied to you. You're the first person I sent this record to because I know that you've been following me and really showing me love and anticipating it. And it'll be the same way with the next record and, the next single. I say it like that because I don't want to get it misconstrued when I say next record. Yeah. But I really appreciate your support. And I want you to know that even when I'm winning crazy awards and I'm back where I want to be, it won't change. You better be there. So if you guys see a salt and pepper haired white guy following along, no, he's not the cops.
I'm not security. I don't work at the venue.